Hello everybody, welcome to my course, Learn 200 Words starting from the letter A to Z. Overview. These lessons or this course is meant for students planning to appear for the TOEFL, GRE, SAT, IELTS exams or anyone who wishes to improve their vocabulary in the next 3 months. Lesson plan. The entire course will deal with words from the letter A to Z. Each of these lessons will cover 20 words. So, from lesson 1 to 10 in the letter C, you will build 200 words to your vocabulary. By the time you reach the letter Z, your vocabulary will be richer by 5,200 words. And not to mention the words you already know. So that's an imposing pyramid, I should think. Before we start, let me tell you a little about myself. My name is Salma. I've done my BS Communications from Bangalore University. I teach spoken English and business communications. I love to travel, I love reading books, and I grow my own food. Yes, you heard me right. I grow my own food. Please send me your suggestions, feedback, comments to the link provided below. I would love to hear from you. Why learn vocabulary? You must be wondering, an entire course on vocabulary? What's the purpose of it? Well, let me tell you, when we know several words, we can describe an event or an emotion. By sharing our ideas and opinions, you can understand what other people are saying and what you are reading. That's very important. Thirdly, vocabulary is the foundation for understanding the world around us. How to memorize words quickly? Memorizing words quickly is often a daunting task. Daunting means a very impossible, or maybe it looks like an imposing task. But sometimes we have to learn word lists, maybe vocabulary word lists, spelling words, lines for a play that are so overwhelming that we are often overcome by it. Fortunately, there are a number of methods that make the task simple and fun. So ultimately, you need to remember that knowing vocabulary will help you meet your goals and enrich your intellect in the process. There are 3 simple steps before we begin. One is to read, one is to define, and one is to use in a sentence. So when I say read, we need to note the spelling of the word and how do we pronounce it. Number 2, what does it mean? What is its definition? How do I use it in the proper context? Thirdly, you put it into a sentence. Once you know what the meaning is and how to use it, you can string the words and build up your own sentences. But to make it simpler for you, with every word, I have given you an example of the sentences that could be used or that could be made. Let's move on. So let's start with words starting with the letter C, 21 to 40 words. This is lesson 2, letter C. Let's begin. Cantata is a noun, which means a medium-length narrative piece of music for voices with instrumental accompaniment, typically with solos, chorus and orchestra. So it's a word that is used in musical language. So in a sentence, it would read, the cantata has a difficult vocal score. The second word is canto, which is a noun. When it is defined, it will be one of the sections into which certain long poems are divided. So, an example would be Dante's Divine Comedy has 100 cantos. So, it's like a section or a chapter. Moving on, capacious is an adjective, which means having a lot of space inside, roomy. In a sentence, it will read, she rummaged in her capacious handbag for a comb. Next one, capitulate is a verb. Cease to resist an opponent or an unwelcome demand, yield. So in a sentence it would read, the patriots had to capitulate to the enemy forces, which means it's an uncomfortable situation and it is a very demanding situation to be in. Let's move on. Caprice is a noun, which means a sudden and unaccountable change of mood or behavior. So in a sentence it will read, her caprices made his life impossible. Next one, captious is an adjective, which means tending to find fault or raise petty objections. In a sentence it would read, he is a captious teacher. Next, captivate is a verb, which means attract and hold the interest and attention of, charm. In a sentence, it would read, he was captivated by her beauty. Next one, carcass, which means a noun. And the definition would be the dead body of an animal. So in a sentence, it would read, she saw the mud-covered carcass of a sheep. Cardinal is an adjective. The meaning would be of the greatest importance, fundamental. So, in a sentence it will read, the cardinal points must be borne in mind. Next, caret is a noun, which means placed below the line to indicate a proposed insertion in a text. In a sentence, it will read, in writing variables for formulae, superscripted characters are shown using a caret. You must be familiar with this sign. This is what caret means. Caricature is a noun. The definition would be a picture, description, or imitation of a person in which certain striking characteristics are exaggerated in order to create a comic or grotesque effect. So, in a sentence it will read, a crude caricature of the Prime Minister. It can be in the form of a cartoon. That's also a caricature, a sketch. Basically, it's a sketch. Next, carnage is a noun. Definition, the killing of a large number of people. So, in a sentence it will read, the bombing was timed to cause as much carnage as possible. Carnal is an adjective, so the definition would be relating to physical, especially sexual needs and activities. So in a sentence, it will read, it was carnal desire. Carnivore, noun. Definition, an animal that feeds on other animals. So in a sentence, it will read, the tiger is a carnivore who kills his own food. Next, carousel is a noun. Definition, a conveyor system at an airport from which arriving passengers collect their luggage. So in a sentence it will read, they were waiting for the luggage to appear on the carousel at Heathrow Airport. Next word, carrion is a noun, which means the decaying flesh of dead animals. So in a sentence, it will read, a crow wheeled over the hills in search of carrion. Cartilage is a noun. The definition would be firm, flexible, connective tissue. In a sentence, it will read, cartilage connective tissue is important because it provides support but is less rigid than bone. Next word, castigate is a verb, which means reprimand someone severely. In a sentence it will read, he was castigated for not setting a good example. Casualty is a noun. So the definition would be a person killed or injured in a war or accident. In a sentence it will read, the shelling caused thousands of civilian casualties. Next word, cataclysm, is a noun, which means a large scale and violent event in the natural world. In a sentence, it will read, the cataclysm at the end of the Cretaceous period. Let's wrap up the lesson with the lighter side of the English language. I've picked up a bit of interesting trivia about our world. What I'd like to share with you is Australia is the only country that is also a continent. Did you know that? I'm sure you did. Okay, now to put the smile back on your face, let me ask you a riddle. Why does the leopard find it difficult to hide and stalk? What do we mean by stalk? Stalk means to search for its food stealthily. Once again, let me repeat. Why does the leopard find it difficult to hide and stalk? Answer, because he is spotted always. Did you get the joke? I'm sure you did. Keep smiling. Keep shining. Till we meet for the next lesson, thank you very much for watching. If you like this lesson, share this with your friends and do write to me with your comments, suggestions and feedback. I look forward to it. Bye for now.